Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Anyegolu. Now let's talk about the people whose job it is to look after this country at times of heightened insecurity. And one of the most notable agencies that plays a crucial role in maintaining national security is the Department of State Services, or DSS. Their primary responsibilities include counterintelligence, internal security, counter-terrorism, and surveillance. In recent times, the DSS has been actively involved in combating terrorism, kidnapping, and banditry. Bit by bit, they've achieved some significant successes, such as capturing notorious terror kingpins, dismantling cybercrime syndicates, and rescuing kidnapped victims. The agency has also been working closely with other security agencies to share intelligence and coordinate efforts to address this country's many security challenges. So, given all these notable operations and successes, why does the department continue to face a measure of criticism? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the lawyer, Adeboro Adamson, a senior advocate of Nigeria, who is well familiar with the DSS and its operations. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you.
So the DSS is sort of like the Nigerian equivalent of the American FBI, which is a domestic intelligence agency responsible for investigating, countering threats to national security, including terrorism, cybercrime, organized crime. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I think it goes behind that. The mandate of DSS, as can be escalated under the National Security Agencies Act, is to ensure the internal security of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In other words, it has a mandate to protect the internal security of Nigeria. And where there is any attempt to breach the internal security of Nigeria, then it is responsibility. So it will arise to its duty.
So it has a broader mandate, for instance, than the FBI, because it includes things like counterintelligence in that sort of spectrum, you know, intelligence gathering, protecting senior government officials as well. I mean, so it's more like a combination of the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Homeland Security. Is that sort of...
Now, when you look at it, the peculiarity of Nigeria itself, so the mandate of DSS is according to the peculiarities of Nigeria.
Right.
So if you say, you may be right, if you say it's a combination of the CIA and all, FBI and all of that. But all I know is this. DSS is established because of the peculiarity of Nigeria. From a Babangida era, Babangida regime to today. And they have been up to date in terms of their responsibility. And I can tell you, at least, in fact, there's a change. There's a pragmatic shift from what DSS used to be to what it is now under a new leadership. In other words, we have a new DSS under a new leadership, where I think DSS is now modernized,
right,
in consonance with the international standard.
And how does that modernization manifest itself? There's a lot of reforms and things. Is that
a lot of reforms under this under the new leadership of DSS? We have a lot of reforms. For instance, I give you a couple of examples. The recent one is the issue of an alleged IPOP member that had been detained for over 2 years, that this administration inherited, was set free by this new leadership of DSS. This is
it's almost unprecedented.
And it's unprecedented. And apart from that, you hear of the recent news where they even paid about how many million naira as compensation to somebody who was wrongly detained. So this is a new face of DSS. This is not the DSS we need to know. You don't even see them before. You know, as soon as we entered their net, only God knows what will happen to you. But today, that is a different story.
Yeah.
So why would you commence such an organization?
Yeah, but can it be, because you see, one thing we've seen in Nigeria oftentimes is one step forward, two steps backwards. I mean, can that be, obviously, I don't know, you can't really predict, but I mean, you know, can that be something that continues on that trajectory?
Sustainable.
Yeah.
You see, we talk of sustainable development all the time. It is my prayer that this kind of leadership will be sustained. That whoever is going to succeed the man there, or the crops of leadership of DSS will continue in that spirit. And that is why we need the continuum of action. And if you want to, at any point in time that we need to appoint a successor, we should look into the credential of the person. Who is going to head such a sensitive organization? It is very, very, very compulsory. Otherwise, you see you are taking a step forward and 2 steps backward. You know, but in all, DSS to me is admirable. This is the kind of DSS of a heart desire of what we want to happen to Nigeria. And I pray that other law enforcement agencies will copy what is going on there, so that we'll be civil in our actions. Now, if you look at it, a lot of people have been invited by DSS. You go there, they ask you questions, they ask you to go back home. Of recent, the issue at hand, the issue of Dati Baba Hamid, for instance.
I like that.
This man was invited.
It's funny that you mentioned that.
Yes, he was invited, and he appeared before them on Friday, and he was given the VIP treatment. And went back home. Even though some people were crying, oh, it was politically motivated. How? If somebody made a statement that is discriminatory, or that is capable of sending his nation into disarray, why would they fold their arms and not invite him? And the purpose of invitation was also a preemptive measure to make sure that, okay, what's your intention? Why are you making these statements? What do you want to gain by it?
And is there a sense in the DSS at the moment that there is particular tension in the air with the threat from Donald Trump and all these abductions, or is it all in a day's work from their perspective?
You can see, we read on daily basis what DSS has been doing, and unprecedentedly, you can see DSS going into the interior in the operation, unveiling the secrets of the masquerades that operate in the name of bandits, Boko Haram, terrorists.
So in that regard, how important is the DSS at this point in Nigeria, following the president's declaration of a security emergency?
It's very, very important. You know, the president has declared a state of emergency on security. This is the right direction, the right step in the right direction. And DSS is up in the tax and has been working assiduously to ensure that the increase in the rise in terrorism is brought to its knee. And you can see the evidence everywhere. You know, you heard of abduction here today, then you hear of a release tomorrow. You know, it's because of the secret works embedded in DSS that is unveiling all this. And we need more of it. You know, you cannot leave Nigeria's security issue in the hands of military alone. Even Nigerians have said, oh, we have a responsibility to decide to our nation. It's our nation. The success of Nigeria is our concern. If Nigeria succeeds, it's our country. If it does not succeed, where do we go? So we have a collective responsibility to ensure Nigeria works and Nigeria becomes great.
So what about things like the sudden withdrawal of troops before the Kebbi school abduction that the previous guest, Senator Adeboro, was talking about? Is that something the DSS would investigate, or do they leave that type of probe to the defense headquarters?
It is very important. That's a conspiracy that needs to be unveiled.
Right.
It's important that what transpired in that area must be made public for us to know what actually happened. Why do you withdraw? Shortly after withdrawing, then they struck. We need to know why. Nigerians deserve to know what actually transpired in that area. So if DSS is working in that area, I think it's commendable.
And in your sort of fairly illustrious career as a lawyer, how much has your path crossed with that of the I don't mean them inviting I don't mean them inviting you, but just in terms of your knowledge of, I mean, because you obviously have a lot of knowledge
I am a lawyer.
about what goes on in there.
I am a lawyer and a litigation lawyer for that matter.
Right.
I am in the courtroom. So I will surely have conflict with DSS. So I am their friend, I'm their enemy. When it comes to defending my clients, who is in their detention, then I will do it appropriately. And where they have done something that is admirable, that needs to be commended, then I will say it publicly.
Right.
I don't care. What matters most to me is do your work accordingly. And where you detain, you must handle that person in accordance with the rule of law. You must do your work in compliance with provisions of the Constitution. Once that is done.
And is that the practice that you've detected more recently compared to the old days?
Of course. I can remember vividly in 2008, I went there when they detained somebody. I knew how we were treated, even as lawyers. But today the story has changed. They are friendly, they are accommodating.
So they kind of serve you a cup of tea and all the rest of it. And, biscuits to go with it.
That's like a fish. But all I'm saying is, the mode of operation has changed, and you need to praise them. You need to commend them, and you need to sustain that. By encouraging them to go on with whatever they are doing. We have a lot of stories to tell about them. So, but when they go wrong, sir, I can tell you, I will equally criticize them. And where they go against my clients, particularly when they are not acting in compliance with the law, they will have me to contend with the court of law.
And is there anything that you've detected? Because I mean, you've been very rosy about what is happening under the new leadership.
Yes. A lot. I was here.
But what I mean is there anything that you've detected that is worthy of criticism since they took over? I mean, it can't all be 100% perfect.
Yeah, it cannot be 100% perfect. But I can tell you from my experience, because when you compare this with another one, it's difficult for me to fault this particular one. You see, I give example. I say it's difficult for to fault them. Of recent, Professor Patti Tommy made some statements on the national television, and rather than taking him to court, DSS approached the court, asking the court to interpret the provision of the Constitution, whether the statement made by Professor Patti Tommy.
That's very civilized.
That's very civil.
Very civilized.
It's on. Yeah. You have never seen that. So if they've done that, to me, it's commendable. And at the end of the day, the court declared and interpreted and declared the action of Professor Tommy in vis-a-vis the provision of the Constitution. That is what DSS should do.
Right.
Not just not just taking people to court, charging them, or maltreating everybody anyhow. That's different.
So whenever we hear of significant breakthroughs today in the fight against, for instance, organized crime, subsequent arrests, meticulously executed operations driven by credible intelligence, should we be thinking of the DSS in that regard?
DSS cannot take the glory alone.
No, I know, but
because
I mean,
DSS cannot work in isolation.
Yeah.
You should know that for sure. So when we're talking of breakthrough in any security outing, that credit should go to the armed forces.
But things like, for example, everybody's talking about intelligence gathering as an absolutely ineradicable part of trying to solve the problem of insecurity in this country. And the DSS is at the heart of it.
DSS is not alone in the act. Police is involved.
Yeah.
The army involved. And all other organizations. Even the local vigilantes are involved. So the glory should go to all of them. And again, the glory should go to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for at least having the audacity or the knowledge or the wisdom to organize, to appoint.
Well, leadership is about choosing the right people.
Choosing the right people.
So in this instance, it appears from your assessment that he has chosen the right person.
But
that's not always the case, is it?
Other organizations I cannot say, but with respect to DSS, yes. I'll say that.
And is it your assessment in the broader scheme of things that the DSS has more loyalty to the Constitution and the people of this country or to the government of the day?
It should be loyal to the people of Nigeria.
No, you're saying it should be. I'm asking you in practice.
No, in practice, of course. That is why we are seeing what we are saying. The reform we are talking about is to the good of Nigeria. It's not to the good of the president. The president will come and go, but Nigeria remains. So it's to the good of Nigerians.
Yeah, but how does that manifest itself? Because the impression that a lot of people have is that the DSS and all the other arms, they're simply there to, be a cooperating part of the current government, and that's pretty much it. And you find them coming after people because they criticize government, or they do this or they do that. So the impression people have is that the focus seems to be more on, if you like, preserving the government of the day than that loyalty to the people of this country.
Well, everyone is entitled to his opinion.
Well, I'm asking you for your assessment.
Opinion. I'm only telling you that people are saying that.
Yeah.
You see, and let me tell you, Nigerians as we are or were, when something favors us, we praise the thing. When we are not favored by that thing, what do? We condemn it. But to me, my fair assessment of DSS is that, look, they'll be neutral. They'll be unbiased, they'll be fair to everybody. If they do otherwise tomorrow, I'll say it. But as of today, the actions I can see that I've read about, I don't see where they have gone wrong.
No, what I'm saying is that you're a lawyer,
yes,
and you tend to operate by the book in terms of the laws of the country, the constitution of the country. When you assess the way that the DSS has been operating, do you see a greater fidelity to the constitution and people of this country, or to the government of the day?
Greater fidelity to the constitution and the people of Nigeria.
How does that manifest itself?
I'll give you samples of what they'll be doing. It's not to the good of Nigerians. It's not in accordance with the provision of the constitution. It's not to the president, it's to protect the president. No, it's Nigeria. Okay, the effort they are making in nipping the issue of rising terrorism, is it to the benefit of the president alone? It's Nigeria. It's in accordance to the allegiance to the provision of the constitution. They are doing that. So not to the president, not to the government of the day. It's clear. If you are to the president, you see, my brother, when we have military rule in Nigeria, we know what happened. That's why you properly situate the allegiance to the person in power rather than allegiance to the position of the constitution. You can see terrorism ruling. That is when it is a display. So you see DSS going after you in a broad day, arrest you, and heavens will not fall. But today it's not like that. You don't hear of DSS arresting anybody anyhow. It's either they invite you for interactive section. You sit down, you talk. So that is to the allegiance to the constitution and the people of Nigeria, and not to the man who is occupying the presidency.
Right. So what would you say is the DSS's, in this new incarnation that they now have, under this new leadership, and obviously they've spoken oftentimes of wanting the people of this country to see them in a different light, perhaps in a more supportive light. What would be their main message to the Nigerian people right now?
The message is clear. I'm not holding their brief.
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm not holding their brief. I'm here on the invitation. Now, the issue is this. On my own, I would advise Nigeria to cooperate with them. If they are set up to ensure the security of Nigeria, you and every other person and I will have the obligation, the responsibility to ensure that we support them to succeed. If they succeed, Nigeria will succeed. Now, if a man has come with a big reform, with a good intention, and is encouraged, he will be happy to do it. So if Nigerians support DSS, and we can shift sources, milestone in the area of security, it's good for all of us. Now you can see that if you want to travel, for instance, from wherever you come from Abuja, it is difficult for you to travel with your eyes closed. But if somebody is coming and say, look, we want to fight these people, we want to go after them, why won't you encourage them? Why do you want to discourage them by criticism? I'm not saying that. Where they go wrong, why not? You have the right to criticize. But where they are doing good, Let's say it loud and clear.
Okay. On that note, I want to thank you very much indeed. It's really been nice having you here. Adeboro Adamson is a lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria who is clearly well familiar with the DSS and its operations. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.